We want to determine the least common multiple, or LCM, of 8 and 6, which should be the smallest number that's a multiple of both 8 and 6, and also the smallest number that can be divided evenly by 8 and 6. We'll show how to find the least common multiple using what's often called a fraction wall, as well as how to find the least common multiple using loose rods. Let's first use the fraction wall. So we'll define the smallest rod here as being equal to 1 whole, and therefore we also have a 2 rod, a 3 rod, a 4 rod, a 6 rod, an 8 rod, a 12 rod, and a 24 rod. To find the least common multiple of 8 and 6, we want to find the shortest train using 8 rods and 6 rods, where the two trains would be exactly the same length. So looking at just these 6 rods here and the 8 rods here, we want to determine the shortest train in which the two trains would be exactly the same length. So again, looking at the 6 rods here and the 8 rods here, notice how the shortest train, where the two trains would be the same length, would be the train that starts here and ends all the way over here on the far right. So looking at just the 6 rods now, notice how it would take 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 rods to form this train. So we have 4 copies of 6, which means the length of this train would be 24. Notice how these 4 6 rods have the same length as one 24 rod. And now looking at the 8 rods, notice how it would take 1, 2, 3, 8 rods to form the train of the same length. Again, this is the shortest train, where forming a train using 6 rods and 8 rods would have the same length. So because we have 3 copies of 8, the length here is 3 times 8, of course the same length of 24, which means the least common multiple of 8 and 6 is 24. 24 is the smallest multiple of both 8 and 6, and it's also the smallest number that is divisible by both 8 and 6. Now let's also show how we can build the LCM using loose rods. To find the least common multiple of 8 and 6, we'd begin with an 8 rod and a 6 rod. And now because the 6 rod is shorter, we would add a 6 rod to form a 6 rod train, which would look like this. Now notice how the 8 rod is shorter, so now we'd add an 8 rod to form an 8 rod train, which would look like this. Notice how the 6 rod train is shorter, so we'd add another 6 rod to the 6 rod train, which would look like this. Notice how the trains are still not the same length. The 8 rod train is shorter, so we add another 8 rod to the 8 rod train. The trains are still not the same length. The 6 train is shorter, so we add another 6 rod to the 6 rod train. Notice when we do this, finally the two trains are the same length. This is the shortest train, where we could have 2 trains of the same length using just 6 rods and just 8 rods. Notice how it takes 3 8 rods, 3 times 8 is 24, and it takes 4 6 rods, 4 times 6 is also 24, once again showing us that the least common multiple of 8 and 6 is 24. I hope you found this illustration helpful.